and welcome to yet another edition of hrtech's Tech Talks. Today, I'm extremely delighted to host Partha Neog, uh, founder and CEO of Vantage Circle. Vantage Circle is essentially creating a major transformation in the employee engagement and benefits program space. They've created a single platform to engage employees through rewards and recognition, wellness, perks, sentiment analysis, and much, much more. Partha is a really well-known CEO and founder in the HR technology space, and Partha, really happy to host you on today's session.
Thanks, Sriram. Thanks for inviting me to this podcast.
Fantastic. Let's start off by talking about what are the business and talent challenges that your clients are facing at this point of time.
Yeah, see, I think if you think about in the last few years, I think in today's environment, you have to be very agile. Okay, you have to go beyond the job descriptions. And that's a constant challenge. The certainty of what should be the role, what should be the skills is a little bit difficult. And it has happened because of a few things. And it's not too far back in the past, started from COVID. No one prepared for that. No one knew the job description for how to handle a COVID situation, right? No one knew how to work from home. Primarily in most companies, they didn't know how to work from home. Then, of course, there's the geopolitical situations which are happening, right? Which creates this uncertainty. Now, these are not small things. Okay, something is happening in Ukraine, something is happening in Israel. It does create anxiety and uncertainty. Okay, you don't know the Fed rate cuts, this thing will happen, how the business will impact, are the business, and we have seen this uncertainty happening there. It might feel like for a small company like us, how do this affect? But they do affect, there's a trickle down effect of all these things. And the third is this AI thing, right? Now, it's coming up. Last 1.5 years, we have been hearing about this, right? And this uncertainty is there. Okay, I'm not saying that we don't know how to use. People are trying different things which are there, but the uncertainty is there. What that translates to is basically we don't know what the future is going to be like. Okay, so if we don't know, what are the skills which we require for this thing? Okay, we don't know. I mean, as a simple example, do you need Java skills? Do you need C programming skills? Do you need, some kind of AI skills? We don't know exactly on that. When I say we, I mean, I'm trying to put myself in the in the shoes of HR leaders which are there. So I think the focus needs to be more on the horizontal or basic building blocks. For example, learnability, creativity, customer centricity, rather than on specific skills. As long as you have those building blocks, you can quickly learn new things which are there, right? And now, great, you need this basic building blocks. You need these certain behaviors. You need certain values. Now, how do you drive those things? Now think about it. How do you drive the values in most companies, right? If I remember from my working days, it's the posters in the hall, in a walkway. All those things were there, and maybe once in a while a mail from the CHRO or the CEO coming in saying that these are the values. We should be customer centric. That's it, right? How do you constantly reinforce these things? Okay, and particularly when you're in a hybrid environment. That's a major challenge. Just to drill down. So there's an uncertainty. We don't know what the skills are required. So you need to have some building blocks. So you need to drive certain behaviors. How do you drive those behaviors and values in people? I think that's a challenge which not just HR, all the CXO level or the leadership is facing.
Perfect. Completely agree on that, Partha. Essentially, there is a lot of uncertainty, and not just uncertainty in terms of business, but in terms of the talent landscape, which is also fast changing. So there is a huge, as we talk to clients, there is a huge labor market paradox we are seeing. On one side, there is a lot of talent available in the marketplace due to the tech layoffs. But on the other side, I'm having clients say that we are not getting the people with the right skills. Okay, so it's a clear labor market paradox, and companies are completely struggling on that.
Exactly.
So, which ties into what we are going to be talking more about today, which is on Vantage Circle. So, how is Vantage Circle essentially trying to solve the business problem that your clients are facing? So, if I were to talk about your platform, what are the key product differentiators and the USP that you bring to the table?
I'll come to the USP part later on for this answer. But see, when I answer this first part, I think that's a more generic problem, not just related to our stuff. And what we are trying to do, okay, as a rewards and recognition player is driving certain behaviors, okay, reinforcing certain behaviors. Now, it might be slightly difficult to comprehend because all R&R systems is rewards and recognition has been focused around the rewards part so far. When you focus on the rewards, it is a more of a tactical focus. It is more of an automation of the processes. The recognition part, the whole purpose of rewards and recognition was the recognition. Okay, when someone envisioned this, whatever, like hundreds of years back, it was a recognition part, right? Every company has those annual functions, right, where they will put up those 10 people there, and so they would get 1,000 rupee or 2,000 rupee from an Indian context, that kind of a check, but that was never important, right? It was important was the recognition, but somehow along the way, it became a rewards focused thing. R&R became a rewards focused thing, and once it becomes rewards focused thing, there are many restrictions. As I said, it's an automation, it's a tactical tool. So who do you talk to? You talk to the mid managers, right? The mid managers are involved in that. What then they will say, and you are limited by the budgets. Oh, I don't have more than this budgets. Okay. Now, if you have 10,000 people in your company, if you have a budget of like 1 crore rupees, how much does this translate to? 100 rupees, maybe. I think that's the calculation, 100 rupees. Will it move the needle in terms of behavior for anyone? No, it's not going to move that. But what is free of cost is the recognition part. Okay, what can be really utilized for that is the recognition part. You don't need any data to say that recognition is very powerful. It's you can just think of it's like almost natural thing. You get recognized, you feel good about it. It doesn't cost anything. So we are saying, as Vantage Circle, we are saying flip the R's. Okay, it should be recognition focused. Reward should be a byproduct. I'm almost saying something like, you get invited to a dinner party, lavish food, you don't pay that person 1,000 rupees, right? You pay a 200 rupees bunch of flowers, right? Because that's a token. That is not to say that your food was this good, that's why I'll pay 1,000 rupees. Your food was bad, so I'll pay you 700 rupees, right? So you don't give that. Rewards is a token which needs to be given, a bunch of flowers, which needs to be the recognition focus. Now, once the focus is on recognition, tying up to my first answer, where I said that you recognize certain behaviors, you recognize certain values. Okay, you use this tool as a mechanism to get feedback on which are the clusters which is facing problems. Now who is interested in this? The CHRO, the CXO is interested in this. It is not about some rewards and automation tool. So that's the problem which we are trying to solve. But a bigger problem which we're trying to solve is maybe even getting the mindset of people or the CXOs to think about R&R tool as a strategic tool. Now, to answer your second part, I mean, I know I'm giving a little bit long-winded answers to your questions, but I feel very strongly about this, that this is something which people are not utilizing. Okay, they should do that. And in terms of the USP, or at least what we are trying to position there is, the tool is a very small part of this entire thing. So there's a platform. Okay, this will do the automation, this will do the workflows, all those things are there. But what you need to focus on is designing the program well. Okay. So we have created a framework called the AIR framework, which we have developed along with the University of Liverpool. We have got the academic research behind it to support this framework. We said focus on the design of it. Okay, and these are the tools to help you design. And the third part, okay, so the first was the tools I said, second was the design part. Now, design also, what we are saying is, see, why we are focusing on the design. If you have a comp and benefits design, you can go to a AO and Mercer, Deloitte of the world, they will help you. You have expertise in your company also to help in those organizational design. But rewards and recognition has not got that stature right now. So you need something, a framework to help this. So we create this framework. And the last part is the program management. Program management is not account management that wherever Sriram has a problem, you call me up and I solve your problem. No, that's not the idea. Our program management is focused more around the North Star. What do you want to achieve as a company? Our team will work with you to create. So we actually package this in something called a Vantage Edge. Okay, we're saying that This helps you. We will work with you, meet your goals. We will tell you the best practices. And what we have done is we have also created audits there of your program. We will because you have to constantly keep on changing your program. Audits will be there, and we've also got a whole training program there. Okay, we have a certification course which we have put up. It's about 6 hours of certification course which SHRM credits you get for that. The whole training, because we said that your HR needs to learn. We are also building the next layer, which is for the managers, line managers, the certification courses. You need to pick up those things. So that's the USP. The tool, of course, is there. I'll not talk too much about tool, but the design part as well as the program management under Vantage Edge is our USP.
Fantastic. So the question that I've always, trying to find an answer when I talk to providers like you is that why do you think organizations and the HR teams hesitate to invest in technology, right? It can drive huge productivity, provide flexibility to employees, do more with less. But there is still a resistance in adoption, and this is globally, right? So how do you manage that, and how do you actually work with your HR teams in facilitating it?
No, I think as a vendor, I mean, this is always going to be a problem. As in, like, why not fast moving there? But think about some fundamental. I'll not put the blame exactly on the HR team there, but look at the fundamental things there. You are selling a CRM tool, right? A Freshworks in India is there, right? They have, I think, 5 to 8 thousand customers every year they add. Okay, why? 5 seats are required, 10 seats are required, 50 seats are required. Okay, so the sales leader takes a call on that, and immediately it is done. If something goes wrong, they kick it out, right? It's out of the system there. Now, sales leader, so the first problem is that those tools are more near the revenue. Okay, when you're more near the revenue, it's easier to get the buy-ins because, oh, if I have actually a Zoom license there, I can actually get more sales and my travel cost will reduce there, right? Quick call there. Second reason was that X number of people, only 10 seats now. So you will say, okay, 10 seats, take it. If something goes wrong, we will remove. But HR has to think about the entire company. Most of the HR tech tools are about for the whole company. Okay, there are a few small ones are there, but most of it is for. So there has to be a lot of analysis. And now, even for a 500 people company, they put a tool there. They have to change if something doesn't go right. I mean, it's the change management which has to be planned. Who's going to run this? It's not just a tool. I mean, you take a Freshworks or a Zoom or something, you just put the tool, everyone's going to use it. Here, the whole program has to be managed on that. It's someone, it needs a lot of initiative from the HR, right? So I think this fundamentally there is it'll always be more time taking than many of the SaaS products which are there. But how we are trying to help is that we also tell these guys that it's a journey. Okay, we will take through this entire journey. We will work. That is why the focus on the program management is very important. We'll help you in the change management of this process. Okay. So yeah, so that's I think the fundamental reasons. I don't think it is really the HR's problem, but maybe this is what the industry is. Okay, we'll have to live with it. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think you hit the nail right on its head when you actually said that, the any of the HR product implementation has an impact across the organization. So all the more it takes time. Plus, it's a little far away from the revenue side of it, which means
Yeah.
you really need to showcase ROI and some of those to actually get approvals, which does definitely take a lot of time.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a simple question. You are an HR leader, so I am the CEO. You come to me, hey, we should do this tool. And I'll say, okay, if we don't do this tool, what will happen? You don't have to really answer. No, we will not be able to drive value. We'll not be able to drive behavior. It's like we will reduce our attrition, but you'll not reduce the attrition in 1 year also. Okay, it will take a couple of years to show that numbers. So it's sometimes, it's difficult to build up the case. So it takes the time.
Absolutely. So now that when the HR teams get the approval for proceeding with the implementation, next comes a certain set of challenges, right, during implementation. So what are the best practices that you essentially recommend to your clients for a smooth product implementation?
See, I think one problem which we face is many people are transferring from a manual method to a tool. Okay, they try to totally, translate the manual process into a tool. All right, this is how it should be. I used to walk up to my boss and get his approval. Now what? No, it is not there. You don't have to walk in. That is why there's a tool here. But will that make a little bit of change? Yes. Your CXO has to do some things which earlier you had to go to his table and get his signature, right? It was slightly different there. So I think that directly trying to translate the manual behavior into a tool is something HR should understand, that there are tools which are, tools are going to be different, but it's going to improve overall, right? So we generally say, work out a change management plan, the first step. We help them. That's where we have in the design process a change management plan. Second is the step by step. Don't try to implement everything. No, no, we want all the features to go live on the first day. We said, don't do it. Okay, but two reasons. One is that you'll not be able to handle it, all the changes which are there. And by the way, just putting a caveat, I'm talking more from a point of view of enterprises because we deal with mostly large companies which are there. So, oh, we want all these features. I said that, no, don't do it the first day. You'll not be able to handle it. And the second reason is you want to keep on engaging on these people to engage on this platform constantly. So getting new features every 3 months. Okay, enable this thing, enable this thing. Okay, all these things are ready there. But do a step-by-step process on this thing. First is the change management. Do a step-by-step process. Don't try to do everything on the first day. And third is that continuously do an audit of the program. Whatever you had envisioned, it's not going to happen the way you had thought about. Okay, it will be different. And that is where the whole program management or the Vantage Edge program is there for us to help you. Because we have dealt with hundreds of companies. So we know what the problems they had faced. So we're going to tell you, at our case, it happens like this only. Don't, try to be a little flexible in that. Don't say that this is how it happens. It happens, but that is not the best thing. Okay, maybe you should learn from the others also there, right? So we try to build this whole monitoring and continuously auditing your program should be there. So that's how we think about this.
Fantastic. So now I want to slightly move to the as very generic, not specific to Vantage Circle. Now, how do you actually ensure? How do we work in the ecosystem to make the HR teams more data driven and tech savvy? So typically, whenever I talk to the HR teams, I tell them, we are the last function to adopt tech and data in any organization. So how do we ensure that the HR function adopts data and tech in an accelerated fashion?
See, I think there's no option, right? They have to now focus on data. So earlier, I sometimes when I discuss with some of the POCs, the point of contacts with us, so I say, now earlier maybe 10 years back, getting this data itself was a problem. So that was an inertia to get this data. Now you have all these dashboards everywhere, right? All this data showing up everywhere. So it is easy. Your inertia should not be there. You should be able to quickly do certain thing or quickly find out certain data points. The listening tools. Earlier, you would get an AON survey done at the end of the year, and you would want AON to interpret the results for you, right? And tell you the recommendation. I said it's now a continuous listening tool. You can't expect someone consultant to keep on interpreting this data for you. You know the context. You will have a better interpretation of this data. So the data is easily available. Second is the vendors like us have to actually show them the benefit of the data. So when we do those yearly, actually not yearly, 6 monthly audit with companies, we show that these are the problem areas. So your employees in the IT department in Delhi are facing some problems. Oh, this is great. How did you find out? It's there with you in front of you, right? When you look at it. So once they see the impact of those things, I think they start moving towards that. They start like, okay, this is important. Now we say, this is all. You can just click here and find out all this heat maps and everything which are there. It's so easy. So I think you are right on your thing that HR is the last ones to adopt technology. But I think now HR has to be the first ones to adopt technology, right? Because it is impacting the first answer which I gave. It is you have to have these technologies to really work with the new generation.
Fantastic. So, no choice at all is your clear answer when it comes to adoption of tech and data. Absolutely, completely agree with it. So, final question to you, Partha. there are enterprises of various sizes, right? Small, medium, large, super large, all are looking to start their digital HR transformation journey. Okay, and the problem is they don't know where to start. Okay, or it could be some issue of they're not getting leadership approval, or the employees are not ready, the HR teams are not ready. So there are two, three problems because of which they are delaying the digital HR transformation journey. So what would be your advice to all of any of these enterprises?
No, I think it starts with the buying process itself, right? So when I say the buying process, now you want a tool and then you go for the cheapest product. It's almost like, my at least in my generation, is like as soon as I got my job, my father said, "You have to take medical insurance." I said, "No, no, office, the company gives me some insurance." No, 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 you have to have your personal insurance, right? And my father is asking, so let me just take an insurance, 1 lakh rupee health insurance. What is the point of having a 1 lakh rupee health insurance, right? I mean, absolutely no use today, okay? Because you'll be paying more premium as like over the journey there, it will not use it. So it's the same thing like that. Just because you want an HR tech solution, don't buy a 1 lakh rupee or a $1,000 medical insurance. No use. Okay, rather not do it. Save that 1,000 also. Okay, so you have to think about actually how effective it is going to be. What is the goal you want to achieve? Yes, you have to negotiate with vendors. You have to push for a lower price, but it should not be an L1 thing. Okay, the price kind of thing, not a health insurance. It's just the analogy of having a 1 lakh health insurance, the buying process. The second is that how do you go about this whole journey? Okay, so HR tech affecting the whole company, adoption issues are there. You will have reluctance. Oh, HR has got some new tool. Okay, again we have to do this thing. Okay, it's like everyone will do all their problems with the HR which is there. So I think it has to be taken as a journey. Okay, that step by step. Okay, I mentioned in the previous question that you should adopt a step by step approach. Keep on continuously auditing this thing. Move on to that, and that's where some things like if your vendor has a program management, a well-established program management, that is where you should really invest in. You will not be able to solve all the problems yourself. You need the program management, which increases the cost, by the way, right? Which increases the cost there, and so that's how you should think about this part, right? So I think that's the starting point of it, and then whatever questions the couple of other questions which is check data driven and all those things. I think those characteristics needs to be imbibed by HR.
Fantastic, Partha. So we started off talking about what the business problems that your clients are facing, which is all about uncertainty due to various reasons, including tech-led disruption, and that's why there's a need for them to be really agile, to move fast in attracting and retaining talent. Essentially, we also saw how the focus today is more creating the building blocks for employees in terms of key competencies and skills such as learnability, critical thinking, creative thinking, which really will help them in this super dynamic landscape. We then saw how Vantage Circle is trying to reinforce some of these behaviors, how to drive the recognition focus in enterprises, right? And as you rightly said, recognition comes first and reward is more of a byproduct. Okay, and you are trying, and the biggest problem that you're trying to solve is how can enterprises use rewards and recognition as a strategic tool, not as a tactical tool, which is how it is being done today. And your product USP is very clearly how do you not just providing a solution or a product, but you're providing the tool, the right design framework, and the entire best practices, program management capabilities, the audits to back whether they are on the right track, and also equip the HR teams with the right certification courses. So I think that's significant because most product providers that I've seen only provide the tool, and I think you're providing the end-to-end ecosystem support for the R&R space. That really is a game changer. And one of the key things that you really highlighted was, it is not all about taking the product and putting it in the current process. You have to redesign and reimagine the process. So it cannot be the current manual process plus technology. You have to redesign the process, bring in the change management plan to ensure people are able to transition smoothly, because most products fail because change management is never in place. And I think one of the key aspects that you highlighted was how do you go about in a sequential step by step approach and not boil the ocean, right? And as you implement things in a phased manner, it also gives that wow factor to the employees, saying that, hey, okay, every 3 months a new feature is coming in, so they use the product a lot more, which means the adoption rate goes up. And then most importantly, we were talking about, in my opinion, which is very critical, is most people start with a solution. I want to implement this and then go backward and they struggle. I think the buying process is very, very critical. You start off identifying what is the problem that you are trying to solve. Don't compromise on the solution or the product. Start with the problem that you're trying to solve and then identify the best fit solution for that problem. Go ahead.
No, no, I said I couldn't have summarized better. I think you summarized the entire discussion pretty well. Yeah.
Fantastic. I mean, thank you very much, Partha, for coming on to our podcast this week. Really appreciate your time and sharing some of these inputs. And congrats again for really being a trailblazer in the rewards and recognition space in the decade or so that Vantage Circle has been in the marketplace. I think you've really created a niche in the R&R space, and wishing you the very best in the journey ahead.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it, Sriram, and thanks to leaders like you, influencers like you, who's creating the right kind of buzz around investing in HR technology, elevating everyone's thought process in the HR HR processes and new technology. Thank you for all your efforts.
Thank you, Partha. Look forward to hosting you again at one of our future sessions.
Thanks, Sriram.